All right, good morning, everyone. We'll go ahead and kick off with today's deep dive call. Thanks for being on. Good to see folks today. I've got just a few quick announcements before our program for today that I'll run through. And then I do just want to remind everyone that we are recording this call. So we'll share that recording out afterwards, and we'll also post it on TxDOT.gov website. A couple announcements for today. So firstly, I want to remind everyone about our fall meeting. You should have a calendar hold. It is on October 29th. You'll remember that we've been doing quarterly in-person meetings the last 2 years. And so these are held at TxDOT Sassney campus. Typically, we do have a Teams link for folks who aren't able to join in person, but I think it's a good opportunity to see people face-to-face, have a good dialogue. These are half-day meetings. We've got the agenda close to finalized, but the first block is a project showcase of statewide, regional, and local innovative projects really across the board, focusing on things like traffic operations. The program that we've got for the fall has some sensing and LiDAR focused projects, and then work zone data exchange, and then some transit focused work as well. And then the afternoon will be kind of a panel format roundtable discussion, lots of opportunities for engagement and discussion. So looking forward to that. So wanted to flag that October 29th, 9 to 12 in Austin. And then the second thing that I wanted to remind y'all about in flag is an upcoming webinar. I will share information in the chat, and then I'll also include this in the follow-up email. It's August 21st, and it is a webinar put on by LTAP, and it is focused on roadway safety. So that's August 21st from 1 to 2:30 p.m. The registration link is in the chat, and then like I said, I'll send that in the follow-up email as well. I think those are the announcements that I wanted to get out of the way, so we can move into programming now. We've got a couple good presentations. Katie Turnbull with TTI will start us off. She'll present on a technology project that they've got going on that focuses on safety and accessibility for all modes, but a special focus on blind and low vision individuals as well. And then I'll introduce Braulio Bessa with North Central Texas Council of Governments for the second presentation. He'll share about some of their efforts in emerging technologies and CAV projects in the DFW region. So Katie, I will pass it to you for the first presentation, and we see your slides. I think you're set. Oh, okay, now we don't see your slides anymore.
Now you do.
Now we do. Okay, you're good. Okay.
So does it show up in slideshow mode? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, now you're set.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Anna. It's a pleasure to give a quick update on a Smarter grant project that was it's wrapped up, but elements of it are still going on here in the College Station area. So it was a USDOT Smart Grant project, 18 months. It was in the first cohort group, so started September 15 of 23 and just wrapped up in March of this month. The project partners you see there, TxDOT was really the lead in this project. They were the applicant, but contracted with us to conduct the study or to conduct the project. The City of College Station, as you'll hear about in a minute, owns and operates the traffic signals here in College Station. So they were a key partner, as was Transportation Services at Texas A&M University. They operate the buses in the campus area. We also had partners with Brazos Transit District that operates the system buses in the local area, and then BEEP, the automated shuttle company. And as you'll hear in a minute, we simulated how a traffic signal could communicate with an automated vehicle, since we didn't have one here operating in the Bryan College Station area. This gives you an idea of the project staff. From TxDOT, it was really the Public Transit Division that was the lead, with Bonnie Sherman and Matthew, although Robin was the key from Federal Affairs in moving things forward from the application through the completion of the project. You see the TTI staff there. As you'll hear about in a minute, the project really involved a number of elements, including people with expertise in traffic signal systems. Obviously, that's Srini Sankari and Hassan from our staff, as well as we did a lot of focus groups and interviewing people at the intersection on the project. And then we developed an app for blind and low vision individuals. So the project goals were really to improve intersection safety for pedestrians, bicyclists, scooter users, including people with mobility and visual disabilities, and then really demonstrating the CV2X technologies to do that. So the three project elements, as you'll hear in a minute, we instrumented 5 intersections with roadside units and then 50 A&M University buses to alert pedestrians, bicyclists, other road users that a bus was turning left or right at the intersection. We developed and tested the smartphone app, and then we, again, simulated communicating that information with an automated shuttle and with a fire truck to alert them of approaching and turning buses. So one of the key things we did was have a project advisory committee, in addition to the project partners that you saw earlier and are at the top of the slide. We also obviously included our MPO, the Bryan College Station MPO, and then representatives from A&M Disabilities Resources Division to especially assist in recruiting blind and low vision individuals. These are the 5 intersections around the A&M University campus. I think all of you on the call know large university, 72 plus thousand students, many of those distracted at intersections because of earbuds, cell phones, all kinds of other devices. And so the focus of this was we first took a look at the intersections and identified the turning movements for the buses, and then we installed any necessary components for the roadside units. We used both Unix and Iteris, 3 Unix and 2 Iteris roadside units, and then some additional Bosch cameras, and obviously the Polera signal, pedestrian timing signals. I won't go into detail. If you're interested in the actual technology and the communication, I can link you up with Srini Sankari. But basically, the buses communicate with the roadside unit. The onboard unit communicates with the roadside unit. That sends the appropriate safety messages to a TTI PC. In the case of Iteris, they also had an in-system computer that made the connection, and then that message gets sent back out to the traffic signal system. And as you'll see in a minute, a supplemental bus sign went off with a lighted bus, and a verbal message, caution bus turning, went off. So that gives you a little bit of an idea where the roadside units were, obviously where the signal cabinet is. This is one of the intersections we had to put the bus signs in a little different configuration. This gives you an idea of the inner workings of one of the signal cabinets, and again, locating the various components in the signal cabinet. We did not need to do anything to interfere with the normal operation of the College Station signal systems. And they were, again, gracious enough to participate in all elements of the project, including providing their resources to do the installation. Same thing with transportation services. The devices are put on the roof of the bus, but have a connection into the inside of the bus. This gives you an idea of what the system, the visual alert at George Bush and Pemberty, which is over by the baseball facility, that side of campus looks like. And this should give you an idea of what the system actually, oops, we'll see if it'll run. The system actually looks like in operation. Now, of course, it worked when we tested it. Not sure why it doesn't want to work.
It's
Anyways,
such a pain. I know it never cooperates.
A bus would be coming down here making the turn. The alert would go off here, and you'd hear the caution bus turning. We also use the Bosch cameras to do some pedestrian detection. It records basic safety messages and map messages and SPAT messages. we didn't do anything specifically with this information as part of the project, just because there wasn't anything additional in terms of that was needed to activate the alerts, but it could be used in the future for a variety of different applications. As I mentioned, we simulated communicating with an automated shuttle. We had a TTI vehicle with a onboard unit, the same as you would have in a vehicle. That vehicle then recorded all the information and messages that it was receiving on a laptop computer. We sent that to the beat personnel, and they reviewed it. We actually discussed and described the whole protocol and agreed to it with them. They currently at intersections do receive SPAT messages and MAP messages, but they were also interested in the additional messages. And so the bottom line was that they found the information useful, of value, and if you were to do this in a setting where automated shuttles were operating, one, you could send and receive the messages, and two, it would be beneficial for them. And then again, we did the same thing with the fire truck. At one point in the project, we thought we would be able to get the City of College Station Fire Department to actually locate an onboard unit on a fire truck. It turned out that just wasn't possible. So we just tested, as you can see, a TTI vehicle operating in front of a fire truck, operating in non-emergency mode, going through the intersection. And again, similar to the situation with BEEP, we provided that information, reviewed it with them on a laptop computer in a fire, and again, got positive feedback that they would find that of benefit and of value. And then as Anna indicated, we also developed and tested an app, a smartphone app, aimed primarily at blind and low vision individuals, but as we tested it, we found it was as beneficial for sort of normal sight individuals as well as blind and low vision individuals. So again, the bus approaches the traffic signal, that message is recorded, and then the phone vibrates and a warning goes off saying caution bus in intersection. So it's a slightly different type of setup in that the microcontroller really queries the traffic signal, and then when a bus is detected, it sends that message over a Bluetooth low energy beacon, and then again the cell phone detects it. And we'll see if this plays. That doesn't want to play. Anyways, if it would play, you would hear again the sound going off, and the phone would vibrate. We conducted tests and interviews, got positive feedback from individuals testing it at the intersection from 3 visually impaired individuals, and then we also tested it with just 3 normal vision individuals, and again got very positive feedback. One of the things we're doing under a different project now, actually next month, we're going to test the same app on a smartphone watch. So again, the watch will vibrate and it will give off a verbal message saying caution bus turning. We also then conducted intercept surveys at the intersections, getting feedback from individuals crossing, pedestrians, bicyclists, scooter users. The feedback was positive, as always with, well, probably with anybody, with especially a university community. Some of the feedback was we got, oh, it would be good for others. I don't really need it because I always pay attention when I'm walking across the street. And then we also got positive feedback from bus operators. Again, even though they did not get the warning inside the vehicle, we had tested that previously under a different project with the Mobileye alert system. And those, actually, we have 2 buses that are still equipped with that system. So we have tested things with the bus operator getting the message. In this situation, again, it was realizing that intersection safety is a shared responsibility by the bus operators as well as the pedestrians. We also got good feedback from them in all groups, as well as some additional suggestions from everyone on other ways that we could be looking at improving the intersection safety. We also have a wealth of data on the actual operation, from timestamps of the approaching buses to the start and the end. And all of that is available if anybody else would like to look at it. Part of the SMART grant is a requirement that we archive that. And so it has been archived on actually 2 different sites, and we can provide links to all that. We are working with TxDOT. TxDOT was interested in continuing with a possible stage 2 proposal if the USDOT issues a request, focusing on the city of Corpus Christi and the Corpus Christi Regional Transit Authority, looking at 12 to 15 intersections in the area, and then probably a total of about 118 buses between their regular bus fleet and their paratransit vehicles. So we'll know more. The USDOT's indicated probably a fall issuance of the next proposal request, and we'll see if that moves forward. And maybe just a way of concluding, obviously, I think, as we all know, with all kinds of projects, the strong partnership between the different entities, the City of College Station and Texas A&M University have a strong partnership of working together. Although we weren't able to actually implement an onboard unit on a fire truck, this was the first time the fire department had actually participated in a project. And from starting off being somewhat skeptical at the beginning of the project, they really were very supportive throughout and even at the end. And in fact, we had one of the project advisory committee meetings. They hosted a tour of the closest, and it's actually the newest fire station here in College Station, for anyone who hadn't visited a fire station recently, including myself. As always, I think it always takes a little bit longer. You think you'll be able to get things through the process. And so we did have a little bit shorter evaluation period, about 4 months. We had hoped to get 6 months. And so it is, as you all know, it is difficult to do a comprehensive evaluation when the system hasn't been in operation all that long, and especially to look at actual safety impacts, crash changes, those types of things. We did look at the CRIS database. There were the intersections weren't selected based on crash data. They were selected based on turning movements. And then again, one of the things we learned is in the future, we will provide funding for the local partners to assist in that installation of the equipment rather than just going on their generous donation of time. So that really wraps it up. Be happy to answer any questions. We do have a YouTube video on it, on the project that you can take a look at. It explains in a little bit more detail and has quick summaries from all the partners on sort of their roles and what they see as the benefits. So again, happy to answer any questions and or take any comments from people.
Thank you, Katie. Great presentation. And it's exciting to see the project also not only potentially continuing in phase 2, but also regionally.
Back to you, Anna.
Oh, can you all hear me? Uh-oh.
Yes, I can hear you. Anna.
Okay, good. Katie, can you hear us? Okay, it seems like she may not be able to hear us.
Something's wrong here. I can't hear.
Okay. If Katie comes back online, we can facilitate Q&A with her. We do have a few questions in the chat, and then I've got a couple as well.
Yeah, for some reason, I can't hear right now, so it must be a glitch on this side.
Okay. I will try to facilitate Q&A offline. Uday, I see your question, and then I've got a couple as well for Katie. I know we've got some other transit folks on the call, so I'm curious, Bailey, I see you're on, a few others from transit authorities. I'm curious if y'all see applications or if you've explored similar technologies for signal for intersection safety with your agencies and your fleets. I'll be curious to see how this plays out in Corpus in a different use case and different context. I think the university is interesting in Bryan College Station, definitely. Okay, thank you, Katie. We will move on to our second presentation today with Braulio Bessa. He is with North Central Texas Council of Governments, and he'll share kind of updates on a portfolio of different operations and CAV-related projects. So, Braulio, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Anna. Hello, everyone. I'm Braulio Bessa, Transportation Planner for the North Central Texas Council of Governments, supporting the Technology Innovation Program. Let me share real quick. Can you see my screen?
Yes, looks good.
Okay, so in today's presentation, we'll provide you with an overview of the completed, canceled, and ongoing projects for the Technology Innovation Program. So we have 8 completed projects to date as listed, including the I-30 Test Corridor, the Dallas Connected Freight Corridor, Multipurpose AV Design and Development, AV Planning, Paul Quinn College, Food and Internet Infrastructure side only, and Arlington AV Deployment, the 5G Infrastructure Task, and the Optimized Freight Movement Project, which was partially completed, and we'll dive deeper onto the next slide. So the freight optimization project consists of deployment of freight signal priority technology that extends the green light or reduces the red lights to increase freight movement efficiency. As for the completed components, we have the system design, training, security plans, and outreach campaigns. However, the project was terminated due to low enrollment or participation, and the remaining funds will be used on another freight optimization deployment. Next, we have 3 canceled projects to date, including the Paul Quinn College, the service site, which consists of deploying delivery robots on campus and providing internet services, the automated parking test bed for AVs and active carb measurement system, the AV wellness wagons that would deliver teleoperated health and supplies to McKinney and Dallas, and just like to let you know that these projects were terminated due to lack of interest from the partner cities. Next, we have 6 ongoing projects that we're going to discuss each one in details on the next slide. The Fort Worth broadband projects consist on deploying broadband infrastructures along East Lancaster and East Rosedale to expand access and connectivity in these areas. As for its status, the interlocal agreement was executed December of last year, and the project is expected to be completed in June 2027. Next, we have the Work Zone Data Exchange project, which consists on the creation of an open data feed for live work zone information sharing for the 7 selected cities, including Arlington, Denton, Duncanville, Frisco, Garland, Louisville, and McKinney. So as for its status, the interlocal agreement is under review for all the cities, and the project is expected to be completed within 3 years from notice to proceed. Next, we have the Dallas College AV Workforce, which consists of developing AV technology workforce and training programs in areas such as automation, logistics, and cybersecurity. As for its status, the NTP was received in March 2025, and the budget is currently under review with TxDOT. So completion is expected in January 2028. Next is the I-35 AV track port, which consists of development of a smart track port with AV and freight technology. As for its status, the City of Fort Worth is working to establish a payment plan for the site and also exploring revenue generating applications for truckers. Also, the project has been delayed by 1 year to June 2026. And lastly, we have the Richardson Connected Vehicle corridors, which consists of development of a connected corridor with autonomous shuttle services for the city of Richardson. As for its status, they were currently working to shift the funding from construction to engineering phase due to high consultant costs. There is also a TxDOT FAA amendment in progress to start the design phase. I have one more, which is the DART Enhanced project, which has two components. The first one is a real-time display for passengers with live travel information updates, and the second one is a precision docking technology that helps buses align precisely at curbs. As for its status, there is an amendment in progress to change the project scope, and completion is targeted for June 2026. So that concludes our presentation. Here's our contact information in case you have any questions or want to know more about these projects. Please don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you.
Thanks for those updates, Braulio. Good overview of the portfolio of work going on. I've got a few questions for you, just some more detail about some of the projects that you covered, but I'd like to invite others either in the chat or come off mute to ask questions. I see one from Uday about some of the canceled projects, I think related to interest. Can you share more about kind of lessons learned or takeaways from some of the, I think there were 3 projects that were canceled early on?
Yes.
Yeah, come to Brian. We need money. Who are
Unfortunately,
these people refusing tens of millions of dollars? Jeez. Okay.
yeah. So unfortunately, I don't have that much information. I've only been with COG for a couple months now, and I'm not sure about that. But I can, if you send me a message, I can find you the right answer or the right person to answer that question.
Thanks, Braulio. The other question I was going to ask, which if you're new in the role, you may not have, can you share about some of the vendors that y'all are working with? There was a Richardson shuttle and then a couple other, the DART AV shuttle. Have y'all identified private sector partners and vendors for each of those projects?
Again, I'm not sure about how to answer these questions. I'm recent. I just got into the role for the last 2-3 months now, but I'm really happy to answer these questions offline. I can find you the right person to answer that or direct you to the program manager if necessary.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, we've got you on the spot here. Other questions for Braulio about some of the projects that he presented about? The last question I had for you, and again, if you're not the right person, no worries. The truck port concept, I think, is really big right now. Truck parking is a big challenge that folks are thinking about. In COG's perspective, what does an AV truck port look like? What sorts of technology are y'all and infrastructure are y'all investing in at those truck port facilities?
I believe we're making sure that these truck ports have can communicate with the autonomous freight vehicles, and also we're trying to implement some kind of active parking monitoring system with AI, and also, if I'm not wrong, there is also another side that we trying to explore, which is also provide training and look for any revenue generating opportunities for the site. Actually, that's what they're doing right now.
Okay. So connectivity and like telecom infrastructure and then truck parking availability systems, either sounds like monitoring and also alerting. And then the workforce training piece is interesting, definitely. Great. Well, thank you, Braulio. If there are follow-up questions on COG's work or some of these efforts in the DFW area with Richardson or DART or some of the other projects that Braulio gave a high-level overview of, please reach out and we can connect you with either Natalie at COG or directly with the local jurisdictions who are executing some of those projects. And then I wanted to check, Katie, I saw that you left and then rejoined. Are you able to hear us now?
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay. If it's okay with you, Katie, can we circle back? There were
Sure.
a couple questions in the chat for your presentation. Braulio, thanks so much for that. Appreciate your time and appreciate that presentation. Katie, the questions that we had for you, Uday first asked if the function overlaps with GIS and GPS functions and tracking in transit. Can you speak to that a little bit?
So it really doesn't. We did not use either of those as part of the project. We did at some points look at the A&M Transportation Services live bus feeds as part of checking that the buses were being correctly tracked through the intersection, but it wasn't at all part of any of the technology that was deployed.
Thank you. The other question I had for you, Katie, and since we've got Katie back, I welcome others to either put questions in the chat or come off mute if you prefer for questions about Katie's presentation. I'm curious, can you talk a little bit more about the app that was developed? Did y'all do that in-house or who did you partner with?
So yeah, no, we did it all in-house. The people in our Houston office have done a couple different apps. It's actually relatively easy to, developing a test app using the Apple system is not too difficult. So we did it in-house. The issue, at least at this point, is that it does need to run in the background. So an individual using it on a regular basis would have to have it, in the background and in operational mode. So looking at different ways to simplify it, looking at different approaches to using it, we'd still like to explore more, but at least in terms of being able to geofence around that intersection and being able to send the message and have the app receive it and getting some positive feedback from all groups of users was all positive. So I think a lot more could be done with it, but it's in terms of an initial beta test, it worked very well.
That's good info. Yeah, that makes sense. The other thing I was thinking about with the app, which y'all probably have considered also, at least for UT, there's like a master, I think it's called, I can't remember, it has a catchy name, but it's like a master app for, class schedules for students, dining hall, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Transportation, also the campus bus line. So I would think that that could be an opportunity to plug it into the A&M system app, whatever students are using.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We were thinking that same thing. If there's, again, an additional platform that you could just link this into and post it there, that would be a logical way to do it.
Right.
And a way to, specifically target the intersections that individuals are interested in.
Right. The other question, you mentioned just briefly that when y'all did focus groups, there were generally positive feedback, and then there were some comments or ideas about other ways to improve intersection safety. Do you remember off the top of your head what some of those themes were?
So, just in general, crossing time always came up. Drivers being distracted as well as pedestrians. I think pedestrians sometimes point the finger at drivers point the fingers at pedestrians. So there was a lot of, this intersection is just busy. Make sure people aren't running red lights, making sure they're alerted and that the driver isn't distracted, not the bus driver, but regular drivers. So it was more along those lines. And the same thing actually with the bus operators, that pedestrians are distracted and, they often have to be extra careful as they're going through some of the more congested intersections around campus because pedestrians or bicyclists especially will dart out.
Got it. When you said that you selected the intersections not based on crash rates or safety metrics, but based on turning movements.
Yeah.
And then I think you said y'all used Bosch cameras for turning movement detection. Is that right? Or was that data that the
No.
bus fleet already had?
So the turning movements, obviously, we just looked at the intersections where buses are making primarily left-hand turns because they tend to be the more problematic for crashes, but as well as right-hand turns. The Bosch cameras were really used as a way to identify pedestrians, hoping that we could maybe link that into the system so that it would only go off if a pedestrian was there. And that worked. We tested it, but it wasn't instrumented on an ongoing basis. You know, that information could be sent, for example, to a vehicle if it was instrumented, a regular automobile. So again, something that we took advantage of testing some things, but it wasn't fully operational for the test. So the actual messages were the bus approaching the intersection, the onboard unit sending the message to the cabinet, and the cabinet knew that bus that was then making a left-hand turn, and then that clicked the alert to go off.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So the there's kind of layered technologies like you demonstrated proof of concept with the beep vehicles and with the fire truck. But start to finish is what you described, that y'all did a full system implementation or proof of concept on.
Yep.
Good info, Katie. Thank you. Questions from other folks? I know we had some tech issues earlier, so if you have questions for Katie about this work, I'll pause and let folks jump in. All right. Well, thank you very much, Katie. We'll share out the slides and the YouTube videos that worked when we tested them at 10:45.
I know. That would be typical.
Yeah, right. And then we'll also send out Braulio's slides as well. And he's offered, if you have follow-up questions or want more information about any of those projects, he can connect you with the right folks. So thanks to both of our presenters. Those are great updates. And I feel like there's so much going on in both of your worlds and just across the state that it's hard to keep up with everything, and always appreciate an update on some projects that we've heard about, but haven't gotten into the weeds too recently. So the last couple of things that I wanted to flag before we close out, we have our next deep dive call on September 3rd. So that's the first Wednesday in September. We've got a good program planned so far. We have Laura Kolstad confirmed to present. She's with TxDOT State Legislative Affairs, and she will give an update on the 89th session, regular session, and technology bills and related to the transportation world, or some of the AI bills that passed that are related to government operations, and then transportation bills generally. So TxDOT recently published their legislative summary that I will send out for folks to have access to, and Laura will really walk us through that on September 3rd. And then we've also invited a gentleman from Carnegie Mellon who was part of a TRB study that focuses on AI deployments in state and local governments, best practices there. A lot of them are pulled from Texas and from TxDOT policies and documents, but there is more of a nationwide scan on what other agencies are doing and thinking about when it comes to AI implementation. So those are the two presentations we have slotted for September 3rd. More to come there, but wanted to give y'all a little preview of that. And otherwise, I'll share out slides and recording. If there's any questions or things that we can help with as follow-up, we're happy to do that. And we'll wrap up a little early today. I know folks are in the back to school crunch, certainly in early August. So thank y'all for being here, and take care. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Thank y'all.